Wow. I cannot believe this. But but we're now hitting the 100th anniversary of Disney. Hey guys, Dash Show Rose here back. I am back to talk about my thoughts on the 100th anniversary thing of Disney. Yes, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the anniversary itself, and the way Disney is celebrating it, and all that. But if you guys enjoy my thoughts, me talking about my thoughts on stuff, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Now I don't do thoughts as much on my channel. I do more reviews, but sometimes I like to throw my thoughts and opinions out there, you know. A lot of it's usually on the news-related side. That's usually where my new stuff comes, but a lot of times I also like to just just talk about my thoughts on it in general. So I'm gonna be talking about this, so please again, hit that like button and subscribe. I have 241 subs. Thank you guys for the people who are supporting myself. I really appreciate that. So, anywho, we're gonna be talking about this, and I tell you guys, I still can't believe that Disney is now, well, they're not officially 100 years old yet, but they will be 100 years old in September, because that's when the company came out. Now, I don't know if I should say that's a good thing or a bad thing well, not really a bad thing, but a creepy thing when it comes to the fact that Disney came out in September. The reason why I say it like that is because that's close to the month October, and when I think of Disney, I think of Walt Disney himself, and the fact that he's been dead for decades now. Since the 60s he's been dead. So it kind of creeps me out a little bit when I think about it, but, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of something kind of stupid to say, but I'm just pointing it out there that the fact that Disney came out in September, close to October, is just saying something, but I don't know. But yeah, we're going to be talking about my thoughts on the whole anniversary thing, so, yeah. I'm also going to be talking about the elephant in the room here, about Disney Plus. I'm going to throw this in here real quick. This is not going to be a very long topic, because I want to talk about the 100th anniversary itself. But yeah, the elephant in the room is that Disney is losing tons of subscribers on Disney Plus. They are losing tons of subscribers. They still got a ton of subscribers, but they're losing tons. And there's also talk with Hulu that they're trying to merge Hulu together with Disney Plus, because they want to buy out the stock of Hulu in 2024. Now the thing is, though, is I don't really know what's going on with that, because here's the thing: they're kind of talking about selling it to Comcast. But then they're also talking about merging it. I think the thing is Disney does not they don't want to lose Hulu. They want to keep Hulu. But yeah, they want to keep Hulu, and they want to keep Hulu and have and buy the rest of the stock of Hulu by 2024. But the problem is they don't have a lot of money. Yeah, Disney is losing tons of money, and, because of their questionable decisions over the years, yeah, they are losing tons of money, and that also goes by, them buying properties like Fox and stuff like that, and they, them blowing money on stuff like that, going on a money spree. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, for, a company to buy stuff. That's how we keep the brand alive. But they bought way too much stuff. They own way too much stuff. And yeah, Universal is bigger than them, but even Universal, I feel like, could be kind of big sometimes, too. So That's the problem with that. When companies get very big, they don't focus on as much of original stuff. They gotta pay all these animators and stuff to run shows like Family Guy and, The Simpsons and whatever properties they buy, and all that. And, that goes for for Universal too. Yeah, Universal, has to pay the animators and stuff for, DreamWorks and Illumination and stuff. So, yeah, they don't really pay all the animators. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's usually the people who produce the movies and all that do that stuff. But Universal does have to, and other companies do have to pay their fair share of money to animate stuff. But that's why Disney and a lot of studios got rid of 2D animation. It's because of that. So that's why because 2D animation got expensive. But the thing is, though, yeah, they're just too big, and yeah, they're losing money, and I think they don't want to sell it because Disney does not like to sell stuff. Disney does not like to sell properties, and they can't shut Hulu down right now and merge it with Disney Plus because Universal owns the other portion of Hulu, so they can't just shut it down right now. So, but I think they're trying to merge it because they don't really know what they want to do because they want to keep Hulu, but they have to pay out the stock. Now, I'm not sure where that originated from and why they're forced to pay out the rest of the stock for Hulu. I'm really not sure why that is, but basically Hulu was owned by Disney, Universal, and Fox. But when Disney bought Fox, they got Hulu in that deal. But because Universal owns the other portion of Hulu, that is why that Disney can't just merge it with Disney Plus and stuff. But I gotta say, if they do end up buying it out and just merge it, that would be so stupid of them because then they wasted their money on it and they could have just sold it off. I think they should just sell Hulu to Universal, honestly. If I were Disney, I would just sell it to Universal. I know Universal is their competition and all that, but Universal has got loads of money, and Disney kind of needs money right now, and the fact that, they're doing that and they're losing subscribers and stuff, they need to do something. But I don't know. I mean, them focusing on woke stuff and ruining franchises they bought doesn't help either. And by shutting stuff down and pissing off people, it doesn't help either because then fans are upset because they bought. See, like I said, companies bought. It's okay for companies to buy stuff sometimes because they can save the brands. But when Disney buys stuff, they don't always save the brands. Like Blue Sky Studios got shut down not long after Disney bought it. Like literally 2 years later. 2 years later, when Disney bought Fox, they shut Blue Sky down. And I know technically that was some people say it's because of COVID, but I'm like, they could have just sold. I think they could have just sold it off. They easily could have sold it off, but because Disney doesn't want competition, that's why they didn't sell it off. That's the problem with Hulu right now. They're really desperate to keep Hulu in their pocket, but the problem is they gotta pay out the stock by 2024, and they really don't have the money. So I don't really know. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys that news there. Now this is not going to be probably in a news-related playlist. This will be probably in the Thoughts and Theories playlist. I just wanted to talk about the elephant in the room, so you guys know about that. But anywho, we're going to talk about what I really want to talk about in this video is in my thoughts on the whole 100th anniversary of Disney. So yeah, Disney, is turning 100 years old, like I said, in September. They're turning 100 years old. And, you would think that because they're turning 100 years old, they would have a lot of, great things and stuff coming to Disney and all that. I gotta say, they really don't. They really don't have that many great things coming to Disney. They really don't. It's pathetic. It is pathetic as hell. One thing is they keep forcing these live action remakes. There are like 5 live action remakes, I believe, in the works. There's Lilo and Stitch, there's Little Mermaid, the Tinkerbell movie already came out. I mean, the Tinkerbell movie, I mean the Peter Pan and Wendy movie already came out. And then we got Snow White, we got Snow White, Lilo and Stitch, and Moana. We got all those movies there that are coming out, and they're coming out. They're being announced too close together and all that, and it's not very good because it's showing Disney is not really focusing on original content, and they're just focusing on live action remakes. I'm not saying the live action remakes are, I don't really care for them. I don't like them personally, but I don't mind if they make them every so often. The problem is they're making them way too much. They're race swapping everything. Yes, they're race swapping all the characters, making them look nothing like the characters from the cartoon movies, which is ruining the whole point of the movies in the first place. Like Lilo and Stitch, for example, the characters are too pale. They don't look black, so they don't stand out to the to the animated movie that goes for Little Mermaid. They just race swapped her, so it feels like Disney just doesn't care about capturing the 2D animated film. Now, obviously, you don't want it to be exactly the same. Otherwise, that will make the film just not stand out compared to the 2D one. But the thing is, though, is that, again, they're making too many of these that are making them too often, and they keep race swapping stuff and all that, and people are saying that they're running out of live action remakes to make. They are, but they could always go back and just remake a live action remake. They could do that too. They could just remake a live action remake. They could. Oh yeah, I forgot too. I forgot about this film. They also have a prequel to the Lion King movie that's going to be a live action one too. So they clearly just keep making these live action remakes. Now, technically, the prequel won't be a live action remake because technically it is it is basically a prequel to the Lion King movie, which we never had before. But they could just make that an animated movie, because I'm like, why not just make it an animated movie? That would make so much more sense because the original one was animated. Why can't they do that with that? I even commented on a comment on YouTube, and someone was being kind of a total dick to me about it. Like, I don't mind you guys having your own opinion, but please be respectful. Like, please be respectful. This is just, I just hate when people on the internet are kind of dicks to you. But this person's like saying that some people like the live action movies and all that, and I'm like, well, I guess this person wasn't really being a dick, like I should say, but there are people who are dicks out there on the internet. And I'm just saying, for those people, you need to be respectful for people's opinions. But my thing is, though, is this person's trying to say, some people don't like, some people like live action movies. The thing is, though, is when they make too many of these live action movies all the time, these remakes, then they're not focusing on animation for people who do want animation, and then it's not fair, because you can't just expect to always get what you want. I mean, I'm talking about the same person who right now is just saying that there needs to be 2D animated films, but because I think they do need to bring back 2D animation. They really haven't done that. And yeah, the prequel to the Lion King movie for being live action makes no sense at all. I mean, maybe if they can make a prequel to the live action Lion King movie, then they can, like in cartoon, and then they can down the road make it live action. I don't know. I just don't really get why they're doing it like that. And the thing is, though, is that, yeah, people are complaining and all that about, some people are saying that, it's like, But some people like it, and that's fine. But for other people want to see, other animations in the films. Hardly anyone wants to see live action remakes. And that's the thing, though. I just don't know. I just don't really know what to say there. But basically, though, it's kind of just frustrating. And that's the problem. That's what they're doing. They're focusing on too many of these films, and this is supposed to be Disney's 100th anniversary. This is supposed to be Disney's 100th anniversary, and they don't have that many great films coming out. Or at least they may be good, but they don't look that interesting. And the thing is, though, even their Marvel and Star Wars films, no one cares about them anymore because they ran those brands to the ground. They did. They ran those to the ground and all that. So Disney really doesn't have that many great films that are really coming out. They have Elemental, but people are not looking forward to Elemental. People don't seem to be very interested in it. I'm gonna see it, obviously. I'm gonna see it, but because it's Pixar, and Pixar may not have that much time left, within the way Disney's going, and they're cutting back on stuff and all that. So basically though, they're again, their movies are not very good and all that. And another thing is with Disney is they also are talked about their parks. They want to add stuff to their parks. But the problem is they've been pushing stuff for years, but it takes them forever to actually build stuff in the parks. While Universal does it very fast. So when they announce something, it could take years. Plus, they got the whole DeSantis thing, because Bob Iger, the CEO now, because Bob Chapek's out the door, won't keep his freaking mouth shut. He won't keep his mouth shut. He's freaking constantly trying to, sue DeSantis. DeSantis suing Disney. It's just a back and forth match that's never ending, and that's really hurting their business too. And it's both of their faults, because they both need to just be bigger people and just let it go. But neither one of them are letting it go. They're just making it worse. And Bob Iger is freaking stubborn. Bob Iger is stubborn as hell. He won't admit when he's wrong. He won't admit it. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, they do have some stuff. They're getting rid of Splash Mountain and all that, but Splash Mountain, I feel like probably should have just stayed, because they're getting rid of a classic thing that Disney World had, and the fact that they're getting rid of that is just kind of sad. So yeah, clearly they don't Yeah, clearly though, they just don't really have a lot going for them when it comes to the parks. So Disney really doesn't have anything really going for them. They really don't. Now they do have for their books. They do have a book that's coming out, which is according to Bill Skyping, it's a book that's coming out. It's basically hand drawn. Completely hand-drawn, which is pretty cool. But, even Phil Skyping even admits Disney is freaking a complete garbage company, and he actually likes the animation side of them. I think even the animation side, though, is kind of going to hell, honestly. It really is. And yeah, and it's cool that they're bringing the book, they're bringing a book and bringing back, the cell animation stuff. Or always the hand-drawn animation. I don't think it's cell animation. I mean, it's the hand-drawn animation stuff. The problem is the freaking book is limited. There's only a freaking 100 copies. So what the hell was the point of it? What the hell was the point of making it? It's gonna be freaking a limited edition. It's only gonna be a freaking 100 copies. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. They just don't have anything that makes us go yay! It's Disney's 100th anniversary. It's just kind of there. I guess it's just there. And the thing is though, there's also the fact that they do have a new castle intro. They do. It's basically an extended version of the castle they've been using since 2006. I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's a bit better than the other intro, but I still don't think it's as good as like the 2D castle intro and all that. But I'm perfectly fine with them keeping the castle if they want to, as long as they're not freaking plastering it on freaking all their properties, like 20th Century Fox films, Star Wars and all that. I'm fine, but they've been doing that lately, and that's been getting really annoying. But yeah, I think the castle intro itself is okay, so there's at least that. But speaking of all that, we need to talk about we talked about the anniversary stuff. We need to talk about one of the biggest problems I think that this is having here with. I mean, the fact that they don't have like a lot of good stuff that's coming out, and the stuff that is good is like it's not that good. Like, again, the book it's cool they have a book that's coming out, but it's a limited edition only, so you're not gonna find that many copies of it, which sucks. Then we gotta talk about the probably another biggest problem I have with this whole anniversary thing. This is a big problem. But this is supposed to be Walt Disney's 100th anniversary, but I don't feel like they have a whole lot of throwbacks. See, a lot of times, companies will throw stuff back when they do anniversary stuff. They'll throw stuff back at you. They'll introduce stuff to fans who grew up with the company in the last century or so, or whatever celebration they're doing. Like if it's 20 years or 50 years or something like that. But they aren't really doing anything here. Yeah, they really aren't doing anything. Basically, though, they have, the films that's coming out now, but they don't have any, they don't have, any 2D animated films. Sorry, I can't speak. I feel like they need to bring back 2D animation. That'd be a good throwback to, because that's what Disney was once known for, was their animation. And their freaking animation kind of sucks now. The CGI is okay in the films, but it's definitely not as good as the 2D animation. It's not as bright and colorful as 2D animation. And I feel like they need to go back to doing a little bit of all of that, what they were in the early 2000s. Yes, the early 2000s, they were experimenting and making a little bit of everything. They made live action, 2D, and CGI films. But they haven't made a 2D animated film in years. I mean, the closest I think we got was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, and that film, I heard the animation was not the best, and it's not really it's basically a live action, movie there. It's with animated characters in it. People want to see, a full-fledged 2D animated film, and people aren't getting that, and this is supposed to be, again, Disney's 100th anniversary, and we're just not getting that. Another thing, now this might be controversial on what people think about this, but people have been saying that they want to see the CGI castle intro return from Pixar. And I gotta say, I actually agree. I think they should bring it back, because that'd be a good throwback for, Pixar. Pixar could have a good throwback. They could bring back that castle intro, and that way it freaking the Pixar stands out again with Disney instead of being just another Disney. Because all that Pixar stands out for now is their basically their Pixar logo lamp at the end of the movies and stuff. So that's all it stands out. And the thing is, though, is they could bring it back. Now, I know people also said the same thing about the 1985, Disney Castle intro, too. But I actually don't mind if that's gone, because they used that a lot more than the Pixar intro. They didn't use that one too much, and Pixar is also a different company than Disney. Yes, it's owned by Disney now, but it's a different company. So I feel like they should bring it back and throw fans back. They could also do the same thing with other properties they own too. Like they could bring back like shows from like ABC Family or something, like reboots and stuff, and all that. Like that'd be cool. They could bring back, some of that too, and people can get, it can be throwbacks to, when people grew up with ABC Family, because Disney's owned ABC Family since the 90s. So they could do some stuff with their properties that they own, but they're not. They're really not doing that. They're basically just, they got like nothing really going on here. And technically, 20th Century Fox would be kind of a stretch on that one, because they just bought that one recently, but like I said in my past videos, I think they should just end up selling that off, in my opinion, because they don't really need it, but they still could do something with it, I mean, for the meantime, until they, figure out who they could sell it to, but they're not doing anything with these studios. They're basically just, they don't stand out. They're not having throwbacks. Basically, it's just freaking Disney's 100th anniversary. It's just freaking a disappointment. Another thing I don't like is they don't freaking have Walt's name back in the intro. I'm sure a lot of people were pissed off when Walt's name was removed from the intros. And I was pissed off too. Because freaking Walt Disney, without him, this company would not be where it's at right now. And the fact they freaking removed his damn name from the intro and all that, it doesn't feel like, Walt anymore. The intro just feels empty. It just feels empty, and it doesn't feel like it stands out anymore. It just feels bland, it just sucks. So when it just says Disney and not Walt Disney Pictures, yeah, it definitely feels empty, and I just freaking hate that they did that. I really hate that so much. And they could bring it back, because, that could be a good throwback. Maybe it could bring it back, showing the fans that they're sorry for what they did, because they that's not the only bad thing they've done, but, it's one thing that a lot of fans are upset about, and they could use the 100th anniversary thing to, be like, you know what? This company wouldn't be here right now without Walt Disney himself. So let's bring back his name and pictures and all that and put it on the intro, But again, they're not doing that. So it's clearly Disney does not freaking care. They just don't care. They just do not care about, their anniversary and all that. And it's a shame, because, it should be something special, but it's not. And then, we got other problems going on, too. We got Disney laying off tons of employees and stuff, and then, with Disney's laying off, tons of employees, they got, like, their animation's going downhill. They got issues going on with Florida and stuff. They're just making people mad and all that. It's just sad. It's sad that this once well-known company who used to be at, like, the top, although I don't think I would consider it at the top even in the early 2000s. I kind of grew up with, like, in Paramount more, but I still liked Disney back in the early 2000s. Now I just freaking hate them like everyone else does. It's just sad. And I mean, again, they have the opportunity to do these great things and fix the company, but they're not. They have all these properties where they have intros that don't freaking stand out. They're all basically the same. Yeah, because again, the intros don't stand out anymore. They're not focusing on animation. They're not. They're making too many live action remakes. They're too expensive. They're just. Yeah, I didn't bring that up. Yeah, they're too expensive. They really are. They're getting very expensive. And then And then basically they're also, just. They're also not, they're not just, expensive, but, there's like no throwbacks. Like, they don't have throwbacks, like from, their past. Like, it'd be nice to have more stuff from their past. Maybe they could even make another Fantasia. They could do that. Although at least the 2000s one, I never seen the original one, but I seen the 2000s one. I thought it was okay. It wasn't really the best. I can't really say if it's good or not though, because I haven't seen it in a while. But I do remember thinking it was decent, but it wasn't really nothing spectacular. But they could bring that back, But they're not doing that. They're just not bringing this stuff back, and it just sucks. I just think they should just listen to their fans more, because their fans, I mean, like I said, how many people out there want Walt's name back in the intro? How many people, want the Pixar intro from 1995 from Toy Story to return, How many people, want, like, 2D animation again? These are things people have been asking for, and we know Disney knows, because they're on, they can see people's comments on YouTube, because, I'm sure Disney reads people's comments on people's videos and stuff, because that's what they do. They have their own, accounts on YouTube and stuff. So Disney could easily, fix this stuff, but they're not. They're just not fixing it. They're just getting worse and worse, and now that they're even talking about possibly merging Hulu with Disney Plus, which means there's another studio that they own that they're going to destroy instead of just selling it off and getting money back. So, again, Disney has the option to get money back. They're just not doing it. They're not. And you could argue that a lot of this is because Bob Chapek. It's all Bob Chapek's fault. Because I'm still seeing people comment on that to this day. The thing is, though, Bob Iger's back, and Bob Iger's not doing anything to fix any of this stuff. He's not fixing any of it. There's still a crap ton of live action remakes happening. Star Wars is still in the gutter. Marvel is still in the gutter. They're still losing money because they have too many properties and stuff, and they're not selling any of them off. They're freaking getting in with Florida again, just like Bob Chapek was, and all. It's even worse now with Bob Iger. Bob Iger is just a maniac. He really is a maniac, thinking he can just freaking try to screw DeSantis over. I still don't know who's gonna win that. I really want DeSantis to win, honestly, because at this point Disney deserves to to freaking get the boot, but because the amount of people they screwed over, But that's the thing, though. Even before Bob Chapek was even in charge, Bob Iger is what drove this company to the ground. He was the one who was making all these live action remakes, and the animation was kind of going downhill in 2019. And again, he did buy Fox, which was a stupid mistake, and it hurt the company really bad. And he could fix it by selling it off. Maybe he won't get as much money back for it, because Fox is not worth $71 billion like they paid for it. And even then, it's not worth as much as it was selling for before, because they don't have Blue Sky anymore. I mean, they have the films, but they don't have the studio itself anymore and all that. But he could sell it off and fix the company, but he's just not doing it. Because again, Disney's desperate for money. They need money, but they're not doing it. So clearly, the 100th anniversary itself and all that is just a mess, and maybe they'll announce more good stuff, but right now I'm not happy at all with what's going on here. But again, I haven't been happy with Disney for a while. I honestly as time's gone on, they've been having more and more problems, and they've had some problems in the past. They've even had their ups and downs. Disney, has had moments where they've actually almost filed bankruptcy and stuff. But back then, more people cared about them. Now people just don't care about them as much anymore. And again, they even in the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, they started having problems when Bob Iger got in charge. So I don't know what to really say here. We're just gonna have to see. Maybe they'll have some more, good stuff coming to the 100th anniversary. But right now I highly doubt anything like that's going to happen. So yeah. I mean, besides the the castle thing, that's about really all that's really good about it. And even the castle, again, it's not as good as the 2D one, but I still do like it. I still think it's better than the other one. The other one was kind of sad and depressing with the music. This one is at least better. I think the music's a bit better on it, but because I actually didn't like the music as much on the 2006 version, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and let things go here, though. I'll talk to you guys all later, though. Bye.